On December 16, 1945, with a temperature at 8 below zero, the Cleveland Rams and the Washington Redskins played for the National Football League championship. The Redskins began the season with a shocking loss to the Yanks in the rain at Boston, but the Skins won the rest of their games except for a 16-0 loss November 25th in Philadelphia. The Cleveland Rams came out of nowhere to win the West, finishing 9-1 in 1945. The oddsmakers made the Rams a 4-point favorite to win, which made sense since Cleveland had compiled a better record than Washington against a stronger schedule. Washington won the coin toss and elected to receive. Pat West kicked off for the Rams, and Washington's Wilbur Moore returned the ball 28 yards to the Redskins' 33-yard line. On the first play from scrimmage, Redskins fullback Frank Akins hit the line for 8 yards, but picked up a broken nose from the hit by Rams guard Riley Matheson. Even after breaking his nose, Frank refused to leave the game. On the very next play, Akins would pick up the first down with a gain of 2 yards. With the ball on their own 43-yard line, first and 10, Sammy Baugh handed the ball to Wilbur Moore for another gain of 2 yards. The Redskins were running the ball effectively with Akins, so on second down, Baugh went back to him again for a 4-yard gain. Akins would get the ball for a fourth time on the drive and gain another 4 yards. Having seen enough of Frank Akins, the Cleveland Rams defense stepped up and threw him for a 4-yard loss. After Akins was thrown for the 4-yard loss, the Redskins' Sammy Baugh punted on fourth down, with Jim Gillette returning the ball to the Ram 21. On the Rams' first play from scrimmage, Rams quarterback Bob Waterfield handed off to Don Greenwood, but the Redskins were ready for it and held Greenwood to no gain. On the next play, Waterfield faked the handoff to Greenwood and handed the ball to halfback Fred Gehrig, who ran the ball for 16 yards. With the Rams starting to move the ball now, they would have had a for sure touchdown if Bob Waterfield overthrew a wide open Jim Benton at the Redskins' 35-yard line. On second down, Waterfield threw a pass to Benton at the Ram 47. Even though he was double covered, Benton somehow managed to hold on for the catch. The Redskins fell for the fake to Greenwood again, with Fred Gehrig carrying the ball to the Redskins' 44. Then Waterfield started attacking rookie defensive back Robert DeFruiter, hitting Benton for a 30-yard gain to the 14, where DeFruiter pulled him down. But the Redskins' defense stiffened, which was no great feat in the icy weather. Gehrig, trying to run wide right, was nailed by end Wayne Milner for a 6-yard loss. On the next play, the Rams' Don Greenwood hit the center for a 6-yard gain. On third down, Waterfield passed to Benton to put the ball on the 8-yard line. On fourth down, rather than kick the field goal, the Rams decided to go for it. Jim Gillette drove into the tackle, but just missed the first down at the 5. The Redskins took over at their own 5-yard line. Ball dropped back to the end of the end zone in what appeared to be punt formation, but Sammy planned to pass. However, he dropped the snap, picked it up, and threw the ball away to avoid a safety, earning an intentional grounding penalty. On second down, he took the snap in the same formation, bent down as if to punt, and threw the ball on a high arc toward the left sideline in the direction of Milner, who was wide open. But as Baugh threw the ball, the wind shifted and blew the ball into the goalpost. The players assumed the pass was incomplete, including Baugh, who fell on the ball just in case. But the officials invoked a little-known rule that said that a pass thrown from the end zone that hits the goalpost results in a safety. So Cleveland led 2-0 after 9 minutes and 20 seconds of play. On the ensuing free kick, Don Greenwood returned the ball 20 yards to the Redskins' 45-yard line. Much like their first series, the Rams started off with a running play. A handoff to Greenwood once again gained 0 yards. On second down, a pass to Jim Benton gained 8 yards. Then, Don Greenwood failed to pick up the first down and the Rams were forced to punt. The Redskins' Dick Todd returned the Bob Waterfield punt 16 yards. The Redskins were unable to move the ball though. Playing with injured ribs in below zero weather, Sammy Baugh was not at his best on this day. Here he throws an incomplete pass. A running play goes for a loss of 3 yards, and Washington is forced to punt. Sammy Baugh gets off a good kick. However, a holding penalty against the Skins forces Baugh to kick again. Waterfield loses a yard on the return after running across the field and being tackled by Sal Rosado. Waterfield drops back to pass, and once again, he overthrows a wide-open Jim Benton, who had Redskin defensive back Robert DeFrieger beat on the play. On 2nd and 10, Waterfield completes a pass to right end Steve Pritko. Waterfield goes back to Pritko again and picks up the first down. As the second quarter begins, Jim Gillette takes the ball and rushes for 2 yards. Waterfield drops back to pass, but a blitzing Joe Aguirre forces him to hurry the throw. The handoff to Jim Gillette is met with much resistance from Redskin Gil Boulay. Waterfield drops back to punt and boots a bullseye corner kick out of bounds on the 4. Frank Filchoke takes over at QB for the injured Sammy Baugh and hands off to Sam Rosado for a gain of 2. Steve Bagaris gets his first carry of the day and runs for 8 yards. Then Wilbur Moore runs off left tackle for a gain of 2. Sal Rosado hits the middle of the line for another 2 yards. Filchoke goes back to pass but throws wide of Wilbur Moore, forcing the Redskins to once again punt the football. Cleveland's next possession gets off to a good start with a completed pass to Jim Benton. After Don Greenwood runs for 4 yards, disaster strikes as Waterfield's pass is intercepted by linebacker Key Aldridge and returned to the Skins' 48-yard line. Filchoke's pass falls incomplete, but Cleveland is penalized 15 yards for roughing. On the next play, Steve Bagaris runs wide right and loses 2 yards. Then Frank Aiken gets the 2 yards back. And then Frank throws down the right sideline to Bagaris, who shakes off Waterfield at the 12 and goes into the end zone. When Aguirre boots the extra point, Washington leads 7-2 with 5:31 left. After the kickoff, the Rams try to run the ball 3 straight times with Garricky and Greenwood, but are unable to pick up a first down and are forced to punt. Amazingly enough, the Redskins get the ball back and try the same exact thing. 3 runs result in negative yards, and they too are forced to punt the ball back to Cleveland. With 3 minutes left in the half, the Rams regained a lead, marching 70 yards in 6 plays. A flat pass to Gillette gained only a yard. A handoff to Gillette went for 3. Gillette then ran for 19 to the Washington 46. On the next play, a mix-up in the backfield left Waterfield uncovered, and he was thrown back to the Ram 49. But Bob whipped a 14-yard pass to Jim Benton near the sideline in front of new DB Les Dye to the 37. Then Benton ran a post pattern from left end and grabbed a Waterfield pass 3 yards behind Dye and raced to the end zone to complete a 37-yard play. The Rams' second weird break came on the point after attempt. So Redskins broke through. Tackled John Kozlowski got a hand on Waterfield's kick, but the ball was deflected just high enough to strike the crossbar and bounce over to make it 9-7 Rams. A nice return by Steve Bagaris was quickly negated by back-to-back sacks of Fred Filchoke. As if that wasn't bad enough, things took a turn for the worse when, with a minute to go in the half, Pat West intercepted a pass and ran 24 yards to the Redskin 12-yard line. After an incomplete pass in the end zone, Key Aldridge got his second interception of the day to end the threat. The Redskins would run out the half by running the ball 3 straight times. Cold or no cold, the Redskins band performed at halftime. They formed a W, then presented a Christmas tableau. The bandsmen spelled out Xmas while a rotund Santa Claus was pulled around the field by 6 other Santa Clauses, and Jack Horowitz's band, which provided all the music at Rams home games, played White Christmas. The Rams took the second half kickoff and marched 81 yards for their second TD. Jim Gillette had a run of 6 yards. Then Fred Gehrig ran for 5 for a first down on the 30. On 1st and 10, Jim Gillette runs for 2 yards. Then on 2nd and 8, Waterfield passes to the reliable Jim Benton for 8 yards to the 40 for another Ram first down. Waterfield drops back and throws an incomplete pass intended for Steve Pritko on first down. And then on 2nd down, Gillette breaks loose for a 14-yard gain for another first down. The Rams run the ball with Jim Gillette 2 times. The first run goes for 1 yard, and the second run goes for a gain of 5. On 3rd down, Gehrig runs up the middle, but an offside penalty moves the Rams back to the 44. On the next play, Gillette darts down the center of the field past Aldridge and catches Waterfield's pass over his shoulder and stride at the 9 just beyond 2 defenders. One dove and got a hand on Jim, but didn't prevent him from scoring. Waterfield's kick sails wide right to leave it 15-7 Rams. The Redskins' first possession of the second half looked like it was going to get off to a good start when Joe Winkler returned the kickoff 32 yards, but a penalty against the Skins negated the play. On the re-kick, Ralph Roostrom returned the ball 16 yards. Sammy Baugh came out to start the 3rd quarter, but hurt ribs and cold weather were too much for him to bear. On the first play from scrimmage, he threw an incomplete pass. On 2nd down, Sammy threw his only completion of the day to Steve Bogaris, which was good for a gain of 1. Bob Shaw would have picked up a first down on 3rd and 9, but a false start against Eberl Schultz backed the Skins up once again. Now facing an even longer 3rd down, an ineffective Baugh had no choice but to pass. Baugh threw incomplete, ending the drive. On 4th down, Wilbur Moore punted the ball to Elvie Reese, who got a 9-yard return on the play. The Rams started their second drive of the half with Jim Gillette running wide left, but the Redskins had him hemmed in and Gillette was tackled for no gain. On 2nd and 10, Don Greenwood ran up the middle for a minimal gain. On 3rd down, Waterfield threw an incomplete pass, but a personal foul against the Redskins gives the Rams a first down and keeps the drive alive. Here Waterfield goes back to pass, but Jim Benton drops the ball after a hard hit from Robert DeFruger. On 2nd down, the Rams go back to the run and Pat West takes the ball for a 16-yard gain. After the big run by West, it looked like the Rams were on the move again, but the Redskins defense would have none of it. On first down, Waterfield threw incomplete. Then on second down, a pass intended for Les Dye also fell incomplete. Third down resulted in another incomplete pass, and the Rams were forced to punt. Waterfield's punt went out of bounds at the 5-yard line, and the Redskins would be starting deep in their own territory yet again. With time winding down in the period, Phil Choke hands off to Rosado for no gain. Phil Choke took the next snap, faded back, and just before the rush got to him, looped the pass down the middle to Bergars, who jumped and grabbed it at the Ram 45. He ran free until Gerke pulled him down at the 6. On 4th and goal, Bob Seymour came in as a substitute, and the Rams didn't see him. Phil Choke spotted Seymour running all alone. Bob took the pass in the end zone, and Aguirre's conversion made it 15-14 Rams. That's as close as the Redskins would get that day. Late in the fourth quarter, the Rams intercepted a pass and ran off the clock. Rams owner Dan Reeves, as was his superstitious custom, sat by himself away from his wife. As the clock wound on under 5 minutes, he got so excited he had to keep on the move. He could barely bring himself to look at what was happening on the field. He explained afterwards, "I've been used to losing for so long I wasn't counting on anything until it was over." Before the 1946 season, the NFL revised the rule that gave the Rams a safety. In the future, any pass hitting the goalpost from in front or behind would be incomplete. Despite winning the championship, Rams owner Dan Reeves still lost money for the 45 season. So he asked the league for permission to move his team to Los Angeles and its 92,000-seat Memorial Coliseum. When the owners voted against him, he threatened to get out of pro football altogether. A settlement was reached that allowed him to take his team to the West Coast for the 1946 season. This remains the only time an NFL champion played its next season in another city.